Stop dreaming. Kindness alone isn't enough to survive in this world. If you believe that being a good person is all it takes to succeed, you're living in a fantasy. Deep down, you know this, even if you refuse to admit it. How many times have you felt like others walk all over you? How often have you done the right thing, only to be ignored, exploited, or dismissed? Society teaches us that honesty and nobility are rewarded, but reality tells a different story. The world doesn't reward the good. It rewards those who know how to play the game. This is where Machiavelli's wisdom comes in. He understood something most people ignore. Human nature is selfish, fickle, and cruel when necessary. In The Prince, he made it clear that virtue without cunning is a weakness, and goodness without strategy is a trap. Think about those you admire. The successful, the powerful. Did they get there solely through good intentions? No. They got there because they knew when to act, when to manipulate perception, and when to move in the shadows. Key question: how many times have you fallen into the trap of believing that morality alone would protect you? The problem isn't that you're good, it's that you don't know how to protect your goodness. You assume others operate by the same rules as you. But the world is full of predators disguised as friends, opportunists who can spot naivety from miles away. Without realizing it, you've been the perfect target. Machiavelli offers an alternative, intelligent kindness. This isn't about becoming a villain or betraying your principles. It's about understanding that kindness must be armed with awareness. You must learn to read people, anticipate their motives, and know when to trust and when to guard yourself. Machiavelli famously said, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." And what have you chosen? Likely, you've chosen to be loved, to be accepted, harmless, agreeable. But what has that gotten you? Not respect, not power. Just the silent understanding that others can use you without consequence. Kindness without strength doesn't inspire admiration. It invites pity. This isn't a call to abandon goodness. It's a call to be good without being naive. True virtue isn't submission. It's the ability to balance ethics with pragmatism, the power of perception. Machiavelli taught that image is everything. It's not just about who you are, it's about who others believe you to be. If you appear weak, you'll be treated as weak. If you project strength, you'll command respect. How many times have you allowed disrespect because you feared losing approval? How often have you stayed silent to avoid conflict, only to realize later that silence cost you more than confrontation ever would? This isn't about cruelty, it's about strategy. The key is knowing when to act, when to speak, when to retreat, and when to strike. Kindness is an advantage when wielded correctly, but unchecked, it becomes your greatest weakness. Key question: how much longer will you let the world exploit your decency? The greatest mistake good people make is believing the world rewards purity of heart. It doesn't. The world rewards power, security, and decisive action. Kindness is only respected when backed by authority. Without it, your goodness is irrelevant. Machiavelli would tell you, don't be a lamb in a world of wolves. Don't let morality turn you into a slave. True virtue isn't blind submission. It's intelligence in motion, mastering the game of perception. It's not enough to be strong. You must appear strong. It's not enough to be intelligent. You must project intelligence. Reality matters less than what others believe about you. Think about it. How many incompetent people rise while the truly skilled remain overlooked? How often do manipulators win while principled people struggle? This is no accident. People don't follow the good. They follow those who seem in control. Machiavelli understood, perception is power. An insecure leader, no matter how competent, will never inspire loyalty. A talented worker who can't sell their value will never get promoted. A kind person who seems weak will always be taken for granted. The key isn't deception, it's controlling the narrative. The strategic power of silence. The most dangerous people aren't the loudest, they're the ones who speak least. Naive people believe total honesty is virtuous, but in reality, information is leverage. Give it away carelessly and you lose power. Silence creates mystery. Mystery commands attention. Unpredictability keeps others off balance. Predictability makes you easy to manipulate. Machiavelli warned, a ruler must know how to conceal their intentions. Not to be deceitful, but because those who reveal too much become vulnerable. Think of the most powerful people you know. Do they explain themselves constantly? Share every thought freely, beg for approval, or do they say little, observe much, and act only when necessary? The unfair advantage of emotional control. Most people lose power the moment they get angry, anxious, or desperate. Their emotions control them, not the other way around. Machiavelli's lesson, the calmer you appear, the more power you hold. In negotiations, the one who stays composed wins. In conflicts, the one who doesn't react loses leverage. In leadership, the one who controls their emotions controls the room. This isn't about suppressing feelings. It's about not letting them dictate your moves. Key question: are you still an open book, or are you learning to turn the pages on your own terms? Most people fail because they crave immediate results. They want success now, respect now, validation now. But true power belongs to those who understand timing. Machiavelli taught that the greatest strategists are not the quickest to act, but those who wait for the perfect moment to strike. Think of a hunter. They don't shoot at the first sign of movement. They observe, calculate distance, and wait for the ideal shot. Only when the prey is perfectly positioned do they take action. This is how power works. It's not about speed, it's about precision. The fatal mistake of impulsiveness. The world is full of people who rush into decisions without thinking long-term. React emotionally instead of strategically. Exhaust themselves trying to control everything at once. Meanwhile, the true players observe silently while others reveal their hands. Let impatient opponents make the first mistake. Strike only when the advantage is undeniable. Machiavelli wrote, "The wise man does at once what the fool does finally." Fools act out of desperation. The wise act from positioning. Scarcity creates value. One of the most overlooked power principles is this: the more available you are, the less you're valued. In relationships, constant neediness pushes people away. In business, overexposure makes you replaceable. In leadership, excessive familiarity breeds disrespect. Machiavelli warned rulers against becoming too accessible, not out of arrogance, but because absence magnifies authority. Ask yourself, do people take you for granted because you're always there? Have you made yourself cheap by never stepping back? Would your absence actually make others realize your worth? Rewriting the rules. Here's the ultimate truth. The system is designed to crush those who play by its obvious rules. If you always react predictably, follow expected social scripts, seek approval through conformity, you will always be expendable. The solution: become an anomaly. Be the one who doesn't respond immediately. The one who remains calm when others panic. The one whose next move can't be anticipated. Machiavelli didn't teach evil. He taught survival through mastery. Now the choice is yours. Will you keep hoping the world rewards passive goodness? Or will you start playing the game and winning it? Final question: when will you make your move?